What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today we are checking out a modern metal masterpiece. That metal being bell brass. That's right, today we are checking out the Gretsch bell brass 6.5 by 14-inch snare. Let's do it! Alright guys, hope you're doing great out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Kyle, and I am a guitarist trying to pose as a drummer. So if you're like me and you're a terrible musician, but that doesn't stop you from making music and checking out cool gear, hit that like button on this video if you enjoy it and subscribe so you don't miss any more of my uploads. Thanks! Alright guys, so today we are checking out a snare drum that I am extremely excited to share with you guys. I'm extremely excited to play it at pretty much any opportunity that I get because this is a snare drum that most people, including myself, dream about owning. Now, I've always been a drum gear and snare drum junkie, even though I'm a guitarist. I have played drums briefly in a couple of bands before, but really, at the moment, I'm kind of focusing on rounding out my studio gear because pretty soon I'm going to be opening my own small studio and giving some of the local bands an option to record on the cheap because we have a budding hardcore punk and metal community here in Erie, Pennsylvania, but there aren't really a lot of options to get decent recordings, so I kind of want to provide that to people because I have the capability of doing so. So once I realized that I was going to put some energy into that this year, I knew that I needed to get some snare drums to round out my arsenal, and at the very top of that list was a bell brass snare drum because let's face it, some of the best snare drums of all time on records that we all know and love have been bell brass snares. Now of course Tama is the one that comes to mind when you think of bell brass, but those are incredibly rare, incredibly expensive, and just not something that I'm trying to track down at their current prices. So when I started shopping and searched for bell brass snare drums, the Gretsch was pretty much the first one that came up on all of my searches. It seems to be the most well-documented modern bell brass production snare drum, and it was the measurements that I wanted, so that is the one that I settled on. And even though my drumming capabilities are pretty limited, I am going to mic it up. I'm gonna mic up my whole kit, and we're gonna hear some sound samples of this thing. I am primarily a hardcore punk and metal style musician. That includes drums, so those are the type of drums that I'm going to be playing today. If you're unfamiliar with the features of this drum, it is a 3mm cast bell brass shell. Again, measurements 6.5 inch depth by 14 inch diameter. This drum also comes with the die cast hoops on it, which for me, I love die cast hoops on my snare drums. It gives a nice focused attack and a massive rim shot. And then it has the 42 strand snare wires with the lightning throw off from the factory. The 42 strands is going to give you a little bit more of a wet snare sound, but of course you can tighten those things up if you want to crank them up and get that nice crack, but I do like them a little bit loose for a little bit more snare sensitivity. This snare also comes from the factory with the Gretsch permatone heads made by Remo. If you guys can let me know down in the comments, I'm not sure if these are import heads or if they're actually made here in the USA by Remo for Gretsch, but either way, I've had these on my GB 14x6.5 snare. Not a huge fan of the top head. It has a very bright tone to it. So keep that in mind when we're playing the drum here. If you guys want me to do a follow-up video where I try out a different batter head or two to see if I can really get something that matches up with this drum nicely, let me know down in the comments. I'd be happy to do that for you guys. But for today's video, we are gonna play it with the stock heads on it. So without further ado, let's jump over on the kit and let's get some sound samples of this thing because I'm really excited to play it. Alright guys, we have the snare set up on the kit, and I currently have it tuned the way that I was playing it, which I like my snare tunings a little bit on the higher side. Like I said, I'm typically a hardcore drummer. I played in hardcore bands when I was drumming, but I need a snare that's gonna have a higher pitch, that way it cuts through, because most of the gigs that we're playing are either on a floor or not properly mic'd up. So we need to make sure that we get that volume in order to cut through everything that's going on. The kit that I have set up currently is my PDP Concept Maple, as you see it here. We've got Evans EC2s on the batter, Evans EMAD on the kick, and then Evans Resonant all the way around the kit. For cymbals, I have my Zildjian K Customs pretty much all the way around except for the Oriental Trash Splash, and I've got the legendary Z Custom 20-inch Mega Bell Ride. If you know, you know. I will put a list of all the microphones that we are using for this demo down in the description of the video, but for the most important one, I've got a Lauten Audio LS208 dynamic microphone on the top of the snare. I have been an SM57 on snare top type of guy for the longest time because it just works. You know what you're gonna get. But this Lauten audio mic just sounds incredible. It gives you the full range of everything that's going on. It's got good rejection. It just captures the snare better than anything I've ever used before. So that's what we're gonna use. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to attempt to play some drums and show you guys how this thing sounds. We're gonna start in my preferred tuning, and then I will tune it down and bring it back up and give you a couple examples as we do so. Right now we have just a little bit of moon gel on the snare to cut some of the ring, but I still want some of that to come through. And I think that's about it. Here we go. And one last thing, I'm not gonna do any processing on any of the tracks that you hear today other than a mastered drum bus compression. There will be nothing else done to any of this stuff, so it will be all raw, unedited audio, just so you guys know. What's being recorded is what you guys are gonna hear on your end. So here we go. Again. All right, so as you can hear, really nice top and crack to it. It still is a fairly open sounding drum, even with the die-cast hoops on it. There's just a lot of nice overtones going on, even with the moon gel. I'm gonna pull the moon gel off just so you guys can hear it without the muffling. All right, so seriously, the overtones on this thing are just really musical, really nice sounding. Honestly, I almost kind of like it better without the moon gel on it. It's just a really good sounding drum. So with that being said, let's pull that tuning down a little bit and see what we get in a lower tuning. All right, so as you guys can see, I don't personally think that this drum likes being tuned this low. The overtones become not musical and it starts to sound just kind of obnoxious, and it's really hard to mute those. It has a naturally lower note overall, so I think that if you want to do the lower tuning, you may have to do like a big fat snare on it as it's tuned high, or just put up with the overtones. Okay, bad playing aside, lots of overtones. We're gonna tune it up about a quarter turn all the way around and see what we get. All right, the snare's already starting to sound much better to my ears personally. There are some overtones. Let's do that half moon gel again, but I'm really starting to like it. Let's bring it up just a little bit more, another quarter turn all the way around, and I think that that is pretty much where I personally am really gonna dig it. All right, I love that. Final time though, let's turn it up one last quarter turn. Not even a quarter turn, we're like eighth turn at this point. But that last tuning I thought sounded excellent. All right, this tuning sounds good as well, but I thought the last tuning sounded just a little bit better. The overtones on that tuning were perfect. Right now, the snare almost seems a tad bit choked the way that we have it, but this is the last beat we're gonna play, and then we're gonna get out of here. I'm super happy with this thing, guys. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments. I don't know what I was about to do there, but yeah, that's gonna do it for me today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Again, let me know what you think about the sounds that I was getting in this video down below in the comments. Really curious to hear what you guys have to say. This is not a Sweetwater sponsored video, but I bought this snare from Sweetwater and they gave me a good deal on it. I am a Sweetwater affiliate with my other channel, so if you want to check this snare out or if you have any other drum needs, do me a huge favor and hit that affiliate link below before you buy anything, as I will get a kickback. It will cost you nothing extra and it'll greatly help the channel. Also, if you'd like to see more videos like these, let me know. Let me know how I can improve them. Let me know what else you'd like to see from these style of reviews, because I'm still fleshing this channel out, trying to figure out what I want to do with it. So any input from you guys is greatly appreciated. If you liked the video, hit the like button. And if you want to see more hardcore metal, punk related drum reviews like this, make sure to hit that subscribe. That way you don't miss any of my future uploads. Kyle here again. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.